Streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and blasttheradio.com, this is The Lowell Green Show. The number to call and be heard around the world is 613-413-2217. Or email Lowell at blasttheradio.com. And now, here is Lowell Green.
Oh, John, thank you. Ray Charles.
Oh, pleasure.
Man.
Pleasure.
I love the guy. I think that of all of the performers, the musicians over the years, I think he's my favorite. And I think my favorite song is Georgia. It has a lot of very pleasant memories for me. Back in the good old days in the 50s, I'm at McDonald College, and we had a big lounge. The students would go in there after lunch. And we had a young man from Jamaica, as I recall, and he was a beautiful singer and a beautiful piano player, and he would play Georgia all the time, and we would all join in singing in. But, of course, nobody could do it like Ray Charles.
No.
Thank you.
Oh,
Listen,
pleasure.
I need some help this afternoon. I need some help to solve a great mystery.
Okay.
This includes you, John. I need you to help me here as well. What in the hell ever happened to Randy Hillier?
That's a good question, actually.
Remember him?
Yes.
Well, one minute he is leading the International Anti-Mask Brigade, okay? A shooting star of anti-government, COVID is all a scam, advanced reasoning. Randy Hillier. The next minute he's nowhere to be found.
You're right.
Haven't heard from him, about him.
Nope.
So please, here's what I want you to do out there. Okay? All you loyal listeners, viewers, look under your bed, please. Check your closet. If you have an attic, please go up and scour it. If you have a barn, I would suggest that you scout the haymow. Very good hiding spots in haymows, okay? We need to find Randy Hillier. The world cries out for his leadership. Randy Hillier. And by the way, I'm offering a reward for anybody who can tell me what the hell happened to Randy Hillier.
Okay.
If anybody spots him, now I need some verification because the prize is considerable value here. My sister-in-law just returned from a couple days' trip to Kingston. Kingston, as you know, has some wonderful bakeries. And one of the things they do at this particular bakery in Kingston, is they make a pizza to order. In other words, you sort of select, you go around, you select all of the things you want in it. So she bought one of these semi-make-it-yourself pizzas. She brought home 2 pieces, okay? And what I am doing, this is a very unique prize, don't forget. I am offering one of the 2 slices of make-it-yourself pizza. Very, very, very unique prize here to anybody who can tell me what the hell happened to Randy Hillier.
Awesome.
Now, on a I guess, less serious matter, looks like we're going to have a federal election in September. Do you have some information about Randy Hillier?
Terry suggests that Randy is bungee jumping using his suspenders. Somebody's just texted in to say Doug Ford has threatened to sit on him. Cheryl says, sounds like a case for Sherlock Green, Canada's greatest detective. And she adds, nothing like the smell of fresh baked goods drifting down a main street.
Good stuff. Hey, thank you. We got some sense of humor out there. Wonderful. But all kidding aside, what the hell happened to Randy Hillier? So we're going to have it. All indications are we're going to have a federal election in September. I'd like your opinion. Will you welcome this election, or do you think that we should hold off at least until the pandemic is over? They're warning us about the 4th wave, etc. Not sure how serious that's going to be, but what's your feeling about a September election? And in that regard, no matter what you're feeling about whether we should have it or not, as far as you are concerned, what do you think is the major issue that needs resolving in this country? What do you believe is the most important issue, an issue that should be front and center in the election campaign? Now, you may believe that there is more than one important issue, and I'd be glad to hear that. Be very interesting to see what people have to say. Apparently, increasingly, people are getting concerned less about the pandemic. I think most people think that we're close to resolving that, at least if you get a vaccination. But I think that many people are just beginning to worry about the economy a little bit. I'm not sure. I'm also not sure how high or how great a concern the climate is, global warming. It used to be the number one concern. I'm not sure where that is. But you tell me, what do you think? What do you think should be the number one issue as far as you are concerned? What concerns you the most? When you go to cast a vote, and I'm sure all of you will be voting, hopefully only once, but what will make you decide, okay? When you're in that polling booth, there's something very sobering about a polling booth, isn't there? What will be the deciding factor in your instance, okay, as far as you are concerned? What will make you decide how to cast your vote? John, just go through once again how people can get in touch with us.
Absolutely. You are on Facebook, of course. I'm sure you're friends with Lowell now. Also on the Lowell Green fan page on Facebook. We're streaming the video there. We're streaming on YouTube. Twitch.
Hold it.
What?
I don't have any fans on Facebook, okay?
Oh, I'm your fan. I'm your fan, and I made you a fan page, Lowell Green.
I mean, the only thing about Facebook I will say is, oh my God, I don't know where some of these people come from, but I have been called a lot of names in my life and had more than a few threats. Can you imagine the kinds of threats I got during the Vietnam War?
I can't, no.
I remember one of the scariest times. Now, I was pretty supportive of the troops. I wasn't crazy about the reason that they were over there, but I certainly supported the troops over in Vietnam. However, you may recall there was a terrible massacre by an American soldier named Rusty Calley. He opened up and I think he killed over 100 and some odd 20 civilians. And there was a great controversy in the United States. And I was highly critical of this man. There's no question about it. And you wouldn't believe some of the threats. One of the most scary threats was a guy who even told me his name, and he was going to come up and cut my ears off. Oof. Because this is one of the things that some of the soldiers were doing was they were taking souvenirs. They were cutting the ears off some of the gooks, as they call them, the Vietnamese soldiers. Wow. But anyway, that was then, this is now. But, and so I haven't, not recently, I've had people wanting to piss on my grave. I love that one. But as far as no recent threats to cut my ears off, I haven't had those. But most of them come from, I don't know what's up with Facebook, adherence. I really don't.
Anyway.
Okay, go ahead. So when you raise my Facebook friends, I say, oh, just a minute.
Well, here's the thing. So you are maxed out on Facebook friends, as you know. 5,000 is the limit. So in order for people to be able to watch the show and get in touch.
Just a minute.
Yeah.
I have to go. 5,000 friends, and fewer than 100 of them care enough to buy my book.
That's right.
That's how great friends they are. Go ahead.
Anyway, we created a page for people to be able to follow the show and get in touch in case they can't be on your friends list.
Oh, good.
That's the long and short of that. But yes, to get in touch with the show, listen, we're giving away an Alexa smart speaker, which, it's no custom pizza, but it's an Alexa smart speaker, courtesy of Blast the Radio, for people who call the show this week. You call, you're automatically in. And the number is 613-413-2217. We do have some text rolling in, Lowell, as soon as you're ready.
Fire away. Fire away, my boy.
Lisa says, as far as an election, a waste of taxpayers' money. Kim says, getting rid of Crime Minister Trudeau is number one. Cheryl says, clean water for Indigenous reserves and help to aid the mental health crisis. That is top on her list.
Okay.
Ann says, let's pull the Band-Aid off and get this over with before the Liberals give everything away. Nick, good to hear from you. Let's not waste time on man-made global warming. Let's get clean water to our worst-off northern communities. Glenn says, just which issue will Trudeau put to the House to get outvoted so he can claim he has lost the confidence of the House? Does he not have to actually lose the confidence to call an election?
No. No, he does not. He can call an election anytime.
And Rick says the major issue is the mistake made by voters in 2015 when we elected a self-serving, lying, inept dilettante who is bound to reshaping Canada in his image.
Who would that be? Randy Hillier? We did. We voted for Randy Hillier, you know. We elected Randy Hillier.
We did.
Where is he? Where is Randy Hillier? What's that? Where is Waldo? Well, remember that game? Where is Waldo?
Where's Randy?
No. Where is Randy? On another topic, and I know you've got some more text there, but let me just. I have several topics today. And I'd like your thoughts on this. I want your thoughts still about what you think's the most important issue for the upcoming election, and whether we really should have a September election. On another topic, our kids are going to be back to school in another month or so, right? What is your thinking on this? There seems to be still a fair amount of controversy whether kids should go back into the traditional classroom, whether that is too risky, too soon, or whether we should continue with online learning. The experience with online learning hasn't been as negative, I don't think, as many people feared. You may have different thoughts on that, but we have two grandchildren that are still in school, and it was a little difficult at first, I think, but I think they adapted to it. And I'm just wondering if you think that maybe it's too soon to go back to school. And by the way, another ancillary question here. If the kids do go back into the classroom, should they be wearing masks? How do you feel about that? Randy Hillier, how do you feel about that? Any more comments there? Any more texts, John?
Ready when you are, sir. Here we go. Cheryl says, defunding the CBC also. It's a government propaganda arm, doesn't report to...
Oh, excuse me. The CBC says it's under tremendous financial pressure.
Yeah, right.
Needs far more money. And you know what? Trudeau's going to give it to them. Go ahead.
Don't get me started on CBC.
Okay.
Nat says Maxime Bernier all the way.
Oh, just a minute.
Oh, Nat's not done. Nat also loves Randy, and says school is the safest place for kids. Ask any doctor.
Yeah, but who is that just wrote that?
That's
they
Nat.
Nat. Okay, Nat, why do you want to destroy the family farm? The only segment really of the family farm that's certainly profitable these days is the dairy industry. And Bernier wants to destroy that. He essentially wants to turn it over to the Americans. Nat, I love you. I have no idea who you are. But why do you want to destroy the family farm? What do you have against farmers? Okay? Why do you hate farmers? As a little boy, did they force you out into the hayfield? Did you have to fork manure? Why do you hate farmers? I'd like to know. Anybody who supports Maxime Bernier hates farmers. If you don't get your food from the farms, where would you get it? Oh, I know. A lot of people say, we don't need farmers. We can always get our food from Loblaws. Or Sobeys. Or Farm Boy. Right. Okay. Why do we have farms, for God's sake? They're just taking up all that land. We can get all the food we need from Sobeys. Nick is on the phone. Yes, Nick.
Before we go to Nick, Nat just wants you to know that she loves you too. All right. Now we'll go to Nick at 613-413.
She won't answer why she wants to destroy the family farm, though.
If she does, we'll let you know. 613-413-2217. Sorry to interrupt. Nick, go ahead. You're on with Lowell.
Well, first of all, Lowell, I live on a farm, so don't be destroying too many of them because I like the one I'm on.
Good for you. Good for you.
As far as kids going back in the classroom, because look, everything you've touched on, I've got comments on, but okay, fine.
Yep.
We agree on some, we disagree on others. But
okay.
As far as, I don't know if you saw the report about, it's got to be 3 weeks to a month ago now, come out of StatsCan, that said the greatest area of concern for COVID was within long-term care, if you were over 85, like 95% of the deaths came out of long-term care for people over 85, who probably would have died from, other causes while they were during the COVID period. And if you go down to 65, it's 95%. So
Right.
the question then becomes, that scatters the rest of it through the other ranks, if I can put it that way. School children being the lowest on the planet as far as who's at risk. They have robust immune systems. This is how we all develop our immune systems this way, by exposing ourselves to this stuff. Now,
Yeah, but the
if you
only
want
way
a
you can get
vaccine,
go ahead.
I was
The only
just
way you
gonna
can get
say,
an immunity to COVID is either to catch COVID or get vaccinated. You
well, one way of
can't get an immunity to a disease until you've been exposed to the disease.
fair enough, and that's the way vaccines work. I
Yeah.
get that, and I'm not opposed to people. If people want to get a vaccine, go right ahead. I'm not an anti-vaxxer by any stretch.
Okay, good.
I just personally just don't think I need one, and I'm not gonna take one.
So you don't care
But
about your neighbors.
Well, of course I do, Lowell. Don't be silly.
Well, I'm
But the
not being
point I
silly.
wanted to make,
I'm not
yeah,
being silly
because
at all. Well, can I
there's
tell you
no-
something? If you're not vaccinated, you and I work together, and I have the greatest respect for you. But if you're not vaccinated, you're not coming close to me. I can't take the
Well,
risk.
Okay, but Lowell, there are other things you can do that you don't have to, like basic sanitation. Wash your hands. What are they? Make
I'm
sure
telling
that
you,
if you're
I'm
not
telling you,
feeling well,
I can't take the risk. If you're not vaccinated, and that goes for anybody else, I don't want you near me because you're placing me at risk. I
Well,
don't think you should have the
this
right
is
to place me at risk.
okay. Well, this is where you and I would disagree.
Well,
But I
yeah,
wanted
but
to
I'm
get
the guy.
back to
I'm the
this.
guy that's at risk.
Well, you know what?
I'm over
Life is full
85,
of
and I
risks.
resent, and not only that, I resent the implication, and it's a clear implication, Nick, that somehow or other the lives of people over 85 who have other concerns, they don't really matter. I
No, that's
resent that
nonsense.
deeply. I
Well,
resent
first of all,
that
that's
deeply.
not what I'm implying at all.
Well,
My
you did.
mother-in-law.
The implication was
No,
there.
okay. Well, if that's the case, if you took that out of it, for that I apologize. Of course, I hate to say this, but every life, just because of the BLM movement, but every life is valuable, and I'm very much pro-life, and that means not just from conception, but all the way to natural death. And I
Okay.
do not want to see anybody at unusual risk.
Good. I know that.
So
I know that.
okay, so
I
let's
believe
just for the sake of this. For the sake of this discussion, though, I want to talk about the kids going back to school.
Please, yeah,
There's
let's
two
get on
different
to
ways
that.
to look at this. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. Okay, number one, first of all, the homeschoolers are going to win big out of this because people are going to find out that they can give a decent education by homeschooling, that they don't have to worry about all this, woke mentality we have now. They don't have to worry about extreme environmentalist nonsense, like how to recycle a can, but they can't do the handwriting. They can add and read and
I
write.
understand. You're making a good point.
Yeah, so homeschoolers are really going to come out of this smelling like roses. But as far as kids going to school, yes, let them go back to school. No, they don't have to wear masks because, first of all, they are at the very lowest end of the risk category. So why are we going to put them through this? This is the part that I don't understand.
Well, we're not. I don't think we are, except apparently in very high risk areas we may. One of the things that you haven't talked about, and I don't think you've taken into account, is the picture has changed with this new Delta variant. And I want to point something else out, Nick, and that is that this virus continues to mutate. So it is true that so far kids have been low on the scale of infection, no question. But that could change with the mutations. In fact, what we are finding now is that the bulk of the new infections are in the age group 20 to 39. So things are beginning to change. And the new Delta variant is much more highly infectious. And as long as people like you who are unvaccinated still provide a petri dish for the virus, and that includes the mutation. The virus can only exist in a human body. It can only mutate in a human body. If you are fully vaccinated, the chances are 99%, it will not be mutating in your body. But, Nick, it could mutate in your body.
Look, like I said before, life is full of risks. But what I'm saying is, I don't think the risk is high enough to justify the kind of things
And
that
I
we have
accept that.
had.
You may be
Okay.
you may be correct. All I'm saying is we got to be really careful with this new variant. Listen, Nick, it's good to hear from you. You and I disagree on a number of items, but you know what? I think on basic things we do agree. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Sponsor. We got to talk about our good friends at Shields. When you talk about people with whom I agree, and with the matter of Shields, I agree with everything, because these are good people doing business the way it should be done. Honest. If they tell you something, if they make you an offer, or they're going to say they're going to be delivering this day, they will do it. Unless a major flood comes along or Randy Hillier blocks the road, they'll be there. Okay. And once again, I just ask you, have a look at the website. Very, very well done. Everything you could possibly want in the way of appliances and furniture, for that matter. It's there. The prices are there. The savings are listed very clearly. The different colors, styles, etc. Shields.ca. SCHEELS.ca. John, you've got some more texts here coming in.
We do. We've got a phone call coming in as well. I haven't had a chance to screen it, but would you like to go to the call first?
Please, let's do that.
All right. Hi, you're on with Lowell Green.
Hi, this is Peter from Pembroke here, long-time listener, first-time caller.
Oh, good. I've always wanted to hear from somebody like that.
Yeah, exactly.
What's doing up in Pembroke?
Well, we have pretty cloudy weather, but it's not bad out, so it's a pretty good day overall.
Good for you.
Listening to the new Lowell Green show is the highlight of every day.
Good for you, sir. Good for you.
Keep on going.
Thank you.
And I think that what's going to happen is that students need to go back to school because, it's high time that the students go back because they're missing all their friends and the teachers need to see their students. But the big concern is the mainstream media talks about the potential of the fourth wave coming. So will the schools stay open or will they close? That's the big question of the day. And further, in your earlier question, what's the big concern? The big concern is the inflation in the economy because we see prices going up. And, that's going to be very dangerous to every man, woman, and child in the nation because you go to the store and the price of bread's up 6 cents.
Hey, you know what? Mary Helen, my beloved sister-in-law, just returned from Kingston. There is a special bakery there. I forget what they call it. And she just bought a loaf of bread. This is one loaf of bread, John. $8.95 for a loaf of bread. I'm going to have a slice of that bread served on a golden plate for lunch. Can you imagine $9 for a loaf of bread? That's as bad as paying $1.40 for a liter of gasoline. Thank you. You know what? Good to hear from you up in Pembroke, sir. Call me again anytime. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
All right. Thank you. Text, John. We're back to text here.
Yes, boy, oh boy, we got a busy show underway today. All right, Nat has followed up. She says, I don't want to destroy the farm, but don't want to have wallets destroyed anymore. And O'Toole is not going to cut the mustard. Maxime is our greatest hope. Would you rather jag meat? She says. Mike says, Nick, it's not just COVID, it's the highly contagious variants. We keep saying that. Randy says, I'm appalled by Nick's naive and ignorant comments. I listened to him on the radio and always thought he was far more intelligent than this. This is the kind of attitude that is going to give us the fourth wave. Good thing he's off the radio. Ouch. Lisa says, I'm sick of the YouTube advertising, poo-pooing O'Toole. Nina says, I've got all your books, Lowell, and you are my friend on Facebook. Aww.
Wonderful. She's one of the 100.
There you go. Terry says, the national debt should be the main issue. If the economy collapses, we have nothing. Chrissy says, I still think the racial discrimination and the problems of the First Nations would have to be at the top of my list. Still care of people in the old age homes and future care of our elders.
Can I just comment on that? Racial discrimination, I agree with you as far as the native reserves. But what racial discrimination are we talking about? Let me just remind you that 51 Christian churches have now either been seriously vandalized or burned to the ground. So exactly what racial prejudice are you referring to? I think it's a fair question. Yes, more texts, John, please.
Yep, some texts at 613-413-2217. Lowell, how many refugees have streamed across the border in Quebec since Trudeau opened the gate? And one day he announced that Afghan translators and Afghanistis that help, sorry, my eyes are bad here, that help our troops can be given a place in Canada. And now the bureaucracy is telling Afghans they have to apply to immigrate. Do these liberal bozos not realize these people's lives are under death threats? That's from Barry. Thank you for texting us, 613-413-2217. Someone says school-age youngsters have nearly a zero chance of catching or spreading COVID-19. Keeping them out if school was or is a serious mistake. Calling for them to wear masks is another very serious miscall, says Bruce.
All right, we're almost out of time. I have to put a word in here for my good friends at Centennial Glass. If you're in the market for glass of any kind, custom glass, glass showers, glass mirrors. I don't mention the mirrors enough. If you enter the showroom, you're going to see beautiful glass mirrors, framed mirrors, and some of them unframed. They really specialize in mirrors at Centennial Glass. And I've also mentioned the fact that if you're unclear, as I am, about some of the government rebate programs available for various renovations in your home, check with Centennial Glass. If you're looking at some new windows and doors, there may be something, I don't know, but they will know at Centennial Glass. They deal with Centennial Glass, a large company, but it's local and it's family owned. They have done very well. And as I've said many times, the only reason you do really well, that you last for a long time and you thrive in Ottawa, is you're damn good. Because Ottawa, in many ways, is a small town. If you're not doing a good job, you're gone fast. Centennial Glass, they've been around a long time, folks. They're going to be around for a long time more because they're good. More texts, John.
I wish Centennial Glass did Centennial Glasses because, yeah, I obviously need new specs. I'm sorry. Some of these smaller fonts are hard to read. Here's a text that says, purely from a mental health standpoint, kids need to be back in school. My daughter has struggled with anxiety and depression as a result of not being in school. Mental health has become a secondary effect of this pandemic. On Facebook, Greg says, I hear that Jagmeet is going to ask the new Governor General to stop any election. Don't know if you've heard that, Lowell, but there you go. And Sean says, Lowell, when's the new book coming out? I have the others.
I'm afraid those days are over. One of the problems with writing books today is that hardly anybody is buying books. They're buying them, but they're buying them on Amazon, et cetera, et cetera. And it's becoming increased. I don't know what's going to happen because if people aren't buying books, I don't know who's going to write them. I mean, if you're going to write books, if you're going to devote your life to writing, you got to make a living. And if people aren't buying books, I don't know how you're going to do it. Now, I mean, you can sell them on Amazon, but you know what the author makes on the average book on Amazon? Maybe 40 cents, 50 cents. For the most part, that's about all you're going to make as an author. You can't live on that. That's the problem. And by the way, it's never really been addressed either. I fear the day when, we're just not going to have books to buy. I hope not in my lifetime. Now, just before we go, I have to give you some good news, okay? Now, I know this is the kind of good news that really ticks off Facebook listeners, okay, and readers. Peel, which is just a suburb, really, of Toronto, has always been a COVID hotspot, has just reported, I'm just reporting what Peel says. It's on the front page of a number of newspapers, okay, so don't shoot me. Don't cut my ears off. Don't piss on my grave for saying this. Peel has just reported that 100% of all new COVID cases are among the unvaccinated. You hear that, Nick? On Monday, it's very interesting, John. I'm not sure if we can credit this program, but on Monday, this is a fact. On Monday on this program, I raised hell over the fact that nobody was giving us these figures. I criticized Ottawa Public Health. I criticized the province, et cetera. Said, you know what? We're getting these figures about the effectiveness of the vaccine from the United States. BC reported, but we're not getting them here. So guess what? On Wednesday, just a day after, we got the first news, and now more news coming in today.
Damn right it was this show, Lowell. It was this show. We did that.
I don't know. It's just, it's true. On Monday, I really lashed out, and I see even Brian Lilly has picked it up today. But and we're getting the figures here in Ottawa. Less than 0.5% of all new cases unvaccinated. So all you Facebook haters out there, way to go. Listeners to this program as well.
They're already saying they're turning you off now, Lowell.
All I'm doing, they say, if there's anything they hate out there, it's good news about vaccines, because this just shoots them down. Thank you all. We'll be back tomorrow.
The Lowell Green Show is seen and heard live around the world at 2 p.m. Eastern. Connect with us online at blasttheradio.com/Lowell Green. Can't join us live? Download the Lowell Green podcast. Available on Apple, Spotify, Google, and more. Ask your smart speaker to play the Lowell Green podcast. This is a production of blasttheradio.com.